Shalom, shalom. It's Brother Donnell. Gonna do a quick little video today, man. On this Think About It Thursday. I think it'd be a good topic, man. It'd be pretty short, man, but kind of informative, um, and pretty edifying, right? It's a topic. It's called the. So I titled it Deuteronomy 28, the prequel, right? And so with that being said, man, we're gonna hop into this video. I think it'd be interesting. I think for the most part, a lot of people probably don't know that this was uh, something to go to as well as far as Deuteronomy 28, because we always go to the curses, and they help us out a lot. Not just understanding who we are, but understanding what we got to do, right, and how serious the Most High is when it comes to His law, statutes, and commandments. But without further ado, man, I salute in real quick, um, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and we do so by way of His Son, who we sent as an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? Um, a part of the hopeful elect. We are a camp organization, congregation, church, whatever you want to call it, man. We set out to do the Lord's work and make our calling and election sure, right? And so that's why we make these videos. That's why we go out on the highways and byways and we present our bodies as living sacrifices, trying to teach our people um, the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Uh, the Word of God. We do this every week, and we can always get better. We can always do more. Christ said Himself, right? The man who the world calls Jesus, right, said to himself, man, if you put your hand to this plow and you look back, you're not fit for the kingdom, right? So there's always more that we can do, and so with the hopeful 11, we try to stay consistent as possible, um, and we got to pick up the slack when we aren't consistent. Not only for the Most High, man, a lot of people don't know that this is a key to just having success in your life in general, right? And so, um, without further ado, let's get into this video, right? So the topic again is Deuteronomy 28, the prequel, and I call it the prequel because it's pretty much Deuteronomy 28, but it was written before Deuteronomy 28. What book is it in? It's in Leviticus, right? So we're going to be going over Leviticus chapter 26, man, and we're just going to be going through the chapter, right? We're going to highlight some things, man, that are key to know within the chapter, and some things that are pretty interesting. Some of the same things, a lot of the same things you're going to see in Deuteronomy 28, right? So let me share my screen real quick. Let's get this on here. Alrighty, right? And ironically enough, if you know anything about Deuteronomy chapter 28, man, the key chapter to start at on Deuteronomy 28 is chapter 15, right? Ironically enough, Leviticus chapter 26 starts at where? Verse 15, right? So we're going to start at verse 15. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, right? I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the brother is in the back page. There you go. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Um, did you want to read
I can.
the water? Um, and so, just to give you a little quick backstory of the lesson today, man. I know I already told you before, but the title is called Deuteronomy 28, the prequel, right? And I call it the prequel because we're in the book of Leviticus, right, which comes before the book of Deuteronomy, biblically, right? Still in the Torah, but it's pretty much stating um, those things that were in Deuteronomy 28 before you even get to Deuteronomy. I know we go to Deuteronomy a lot, But you can also go to Leviticus, right? Leviticus chapter 26, right? It's gonna pretty much say the same thing, right? I like the way it puts a lot of this stuff in here too, though, right? And we classify Deuteronomy 28 as the curses. These are the curses right here too. You know what I'm saying? It's just more bang for your buck and more ammo, right? Something to put in your back pocket. And I was telling them, man, ironically enough, it starts at verse 15, just like Deuteronomy 28. We like to start at verse 15, right? And so you can start at verse 15 again. Salaki for y'all. Not to be redundant, but we're gonna start from the top again, okay? Verse 15.
Leviticus 26 and 15. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you.
Right? And we know in the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, it says something similar, right? It starts off by saying, if you don't hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God to do his statutes, his judgments, and his commandments, you know what I'm saying, that all these curses shall come upon thee. It's saying the exact same thing, right? If we despise, if we abhor, right? If we lack to adhere to what the Most High said, right? And abide by the guidelines of his covenant, right? What he said he was gonna, if we break his covenant, these things will he do. Verse 16.
I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning egg that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Right. So he's saying that all these things were gonna come to pass, right? He said he was gonna appoint over us terror, right? In every captivity we've had, man, we faced terror. Even when you go back to even to the what they call in the world the three Hebrew boys, right, with the fiery furnace, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, also known as Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, right? What they had to go through in their captivity was what? Terror, right? Why was it terror? Because they were faced with a fiery furnace they had to go into, right? That's terror. All the way up into the point of our final captivity, right? When they came and took us on slave ships. He set over a people that was not stronger than us, right? Not smarter than us, not cleaner than us. He set them over us and they terrorized us from day one, right? We never really seen in action that many firearms, that many guns, right? That fear of a firearm is terror, right? The things that they would do to us, just just they didn't even have to do anything with the firearm. They just had to kind of look at us, man, and we got in line once we know what was up, right? One thing I want to point out is at the end of that verse in 16. Can you read the end of that verse after the colon?
And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Right. So you will sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it, right? And we all know going back to slavery times where this rings a bell. You know, we all seen this in slavery times. Why? Because we were the ones sowing the seeds, and we were sowing it for our what? Our oppressors, and they were enjoying the fruits of that labor. Even when you look at cotton, right? Salaki. Even when you look at cotton, right? We were the ones planting them cotton plants, picking the cotton for our clothes. No, for their clothes. We were sowing, and our enemies were eating it up. Right? Can you read it for me?
And even our kids, man, even our physical seed, we would lay down with our wives and they would take our kids from us,
Right.
right? Eat it up. They had a whole different plantation. So
Right.
we pretty much being fruitful and multiplying in vain because like we don't get to teach our kids. We don't get to see them or raise them up, right? Uh, verse 17. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursue.
Right? Again, check this out. It says, "And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies." Right? We fell by the sword many a times. Right? They that hate you shall reign over you. They hate us, man. I was watching a video the other day, and it was some brothers. They were talking. They were having a conversation with this white lady, and she was saying how, and my mom is, hey, she's like the most racist person ever, right? A lot of people don't know the people that was over us. They hated us, and they still hate us to this day, right? And he set them over us. He set the people that's gonna hate us the most, and a lot of that comes from envy, jealousy, right? He set them over us. Why? Because hey, look, how much more can I terrorize you within putting over somebody that hates you, right? It's gonna make it that much worse. And then
Con,
at the end,
um,
yeah,
Salakia, we have Purim coming up, and we go back to the book of Esther. Even when nations didn't have a problem with us, the Most High put a spirit on certain people so that they would have a problem with us. Like in the book of Esther, the king of Persia, he didn't have a problem with us, right? He even chose Esther, right? But it wasn't until the Most High put a spirit in Haman to come up against the children of Israel to make everybody in the world hate us at that time and cast pure upon us, right? Poverty, um, you know what I'm saying, and all different type of tribulation. Uh, so even when we think we're getting away, Most High God send that spirit and say, "Nah, y'all disobey me, so I'm gonna make sure they hate you. The people that reign over you, they gonna hate you."
come, right? I like at the end of verse 17. It says, "And ye shall flee when none pursue it," right? And we've seen this from the beginning of our captivity even till now, right? They always talk about even when segregation was a thing, right, and integration was a thing. Um, the white man show up, or the white man's walking down the street, you put your head down, and you quickly get a move on, right? Nowadays, right, in the hood, a bunch of black people around, let's say a white police officer rolls up, right? Everybody fleeing, right? Everybody leaving the scene. You know what I'm saying? These are some of the things. Hey, even in slavery, when it happens, right? We was all in one house having fun, or one of our slave quarters having fun, or something like that, right? Master come, everybody go their own ways, right? And so we can still see these curses even to today, right? Let's
Right.
go.
Just like and to add to what you said, even when we driving in a car and we see them flashing lights, man, our hearts drop, right? Like,
People see our oppressors, man, and we get the heck on, you know. Um, Go ahead and read 18 for me.
verse 18, and if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins.
Right, man. Right. Keep going.
Verse 19, and I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass.
Con, right. He said the pride of our power, right? First of all, what does Israel mean, right? Princes of the power with God, right? He's gonna take that pride that we had, that where our power came from, because our power came from God while doing these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's where our power lies, right? He's gonna take the pride away from the power that we were supposed to have, right? And he was gonna make it hard for us. He said he was gonna make your heaven iron and the earth brass, right? We always talk about Egypt and Mizraim, and the etymology of these words is um, uh, within a strait, or between the rocks, or with the rocks, right? Within a rock and a hard place, right? Um, Pretty much saying we're going to be in bondage. Not only that, if you look at it, he says, "I will make your heaven as iron." Another thing he's saying is, "Hey, look, he's not going to be hearing our prayers like that no more, right?" Because one, it says the prayer of a righteous man. The brother Azrael did a short video on this, right? The prayers of a righteous man availeth much, right? In Proverbs, he tells us what? The prayers of a sinner is like an abomination. And why are we reaping these curses right now? Because we were in sin. Why are we reaping these curses right now? Right? Because we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And so at the same time, he's letting us know our prayers aren't getting nowhere. It's not leaving the ceiling that you're under. Right? You have some?
Nah. But yeah, it's just like a firmament, man. You just put a firmament. Like all these nations try to build rockets and stuff to get outside the firmament. They can't get outside the firmament, right? So the same thing with us. We look that foolish, right? Once we come into the truth and the knowledge, we know NASA, we know all that's fake, right? Um, and we know even when they do these launches, we're like, man, that's foolish. The wisdom of the word is so foolish. You know what I'm saying? We know that there's a firmament. But just like how we know that's foolish, the Most High God says, "Oh, you don't want to listen to my law, statutes, and commandments? You foolish for thinking you can pray to me. I made your heavens like iron, your earth is like brass.
Right.
Hey,
Think about it.
I shut the door to the heavens and
Right.
and rolled a stone over it, laid it to rest. Right? I can't hear your prayer because you do not want to listen to me.
Think about it, man. It's just like growing up. If you grew up with two parents or one parent, right? Whenever you got in trouble, man, whenever you was in timeout, um, whenever you had just got received a whooping, whenever you were what's the word I'm looking for? You were grounded, right? These were not the times to be making requests to your parents, right? You're not gonna get in trouble and ask your parents for that new hoverboard, right? At that moment, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because you know most likely your request is not gonna be answered. It's the same thing with the Most High God, right? If we're being disobedient, He's not gonna reward us for it, right? Read verse 20 for me.
Verse 20, and your strength shall be spent in vain
Your
for your
strength shall be spent in vain. What does this look like? Right? We're a strong people. We're a wise people. What does our strength go to? Entertainment to our oppressor, right? We were kings and warriors, and now we spend our strength shooting balls into hoops and catching balls, right?
that old pig skin.
Right? All for nothing, right? It's in vain, right? You might win a championship, you might win a trophy, but what is it for? What kind of what pride does that really bring you, right? What is it? What's the value of it, right?
Con,
What's the value of being good to play basketball, right?
con,
How can you change the world by playing basketball? You really can't. People philosophize ways you can change the world by playing basketball. You really can't, right?
con. I just watched that interview with Deion Sanders, and he's Christianity or whatever. He said, I mean, look, hey, God called me to be more than a football coach. The football coach is just how I get the message out. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people we're deceived into thinking that God actually cares about these sports and God cares about this entertainment that Babylon set up, right?
Right,
This in instance, like the brother Denal just said, we always bring this out, right? Uh, what they did was they flipped the script on us. They knew that this was a powerful people, the Israelites, so they had to take that power from us. They knew that we are able to win wars. So, and they knew that we were competitive. So what do? They create these Greek sports and put us in the forefront, give us a lot of money. So instead of all the women screaming, David killed thousands and Saul killed thousands and David his tens of thousands, right? Instead of that, right, we're now going to the club after a championship game popping bottles, right?
right,
Meaning it's vain. It amounts to nothing. When we were taking territory and defeating enemies, we were a force to be reckoned with. But now we're a laughing stock. We're just entertainment now. I
right.
another interview, Salakia, watched another interview about blacks in Korea, and the dude was going around asking people, "How do you feel about how do you feel since you've moved to Korea?" And they said, yeah, man, people don't take us serious. They just see us as a good time. Nobody sees us to have a relationship with us. Nobody wants to take us serious. They just see blacks as having a good time. And that's what we've become because they replaced war with sports. right? They replaced marriage with side pieces. They replaced all these things that they replaced the priesthood with false teachers, right? And all these different ideologies and theologies and things, right? We're blind leading the blind because
So
our strength shall be spent in vain.
and so our strength, man, they made it vain, like the brother's saying, man. And when you think about it, it's all a distraction, right? Um, and so you take all, like the brother was saying, these strong competitive men by nature, and you trap them in to, a cultivating thing like sports. That's all they're worried about. Instead of us putting our strength where it should matter, like the Maccabees, right? All rallying up together to take back what's ours, right? To gain freedom for our whole nation, not just your family, not just your intermediate family, but your whole nation, right? These things are not vain. Why? Because a lot of people benefit from them, right? Your people benefit from them, right? But
For
when
sure.
you look at the strength that's being spent right now, right? It's first of all, it's all selfish. Two, man, it's not important, man. What
Right.
happens to you after? Oh, he was such a great basketball player. What else about him?
Right.
How did that help anybody in your nation?
When you get into sports, even if the sport is a team sport, I want to be the best. I want to be the best in the world.
A Christian, right? Coach was a white man, but he said something that was real one day at practice. We had a big game coming up. I think it was for seeding in the playoffs, and so I think somebody wanted to pray, and he was like, uh, I know you guys are wondering why I didn't pray that we win the game and stuff like that. Is because the Most High God has more things to worry about than our basketball, our high school basketball game. At the time, I was like, this man crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? God will give us whatever we ask for. But thinking back, man, just like the scripture says in verse 20, it's everything we was doing was spent in vain. The Most High God does not care about no basketball game, right? He doesn't care about a football game. No, he doesn't care about that stuff at all. And we have to understand that the only thing he cares about is the whole duty of man, just keeping his commandments and fearing him, right? And a lot of us have that mindset, especially these athletes. They get into that mindset of I'm doing this for God, right? You know what I'm saying? And God had this plan for my life that I would be playing the sport for the rest of my life. And there's phrases out there like what does Steph Curry always be saying, man? Like um, I can't think of the phrase, man, but it's typically something like um, I play for God or something like that, right? It's all vain, bro. It don't matter. It doesn't bring nobody nothing but you, right?
Right. And as the verse says, your strength shall be spent in vain. Man, we work our bodies out playing these sports. We kill ourselves to be the best. And then we finally get the championship, we're crying like little babies. Not
Right.
because we won a war, not because we got salvation from our enemies, but
Because
because
not
we championship.
not because
Worship wood and stone.
not because you're providing for your nation. You're giving them more land, more livestock, more crops, right? You're providing a way to be more fruitful and multiplying, right? Giving them more shelter, more clothes, things of this nature. Not because you won something and all of that stuff was coming to your nation, but because you won a gold plated trophy, right? You know what I'm saying? A little ring to put on your finger, right? All that
And
stuff
just,
is
I don't want to keep going on this, but I'll just put it in layman's terms. Our nation was kind of broken down into three classes. We had kings, we had priests, we had warriors. Now we have athletes. We have the king of comedy, the king of hip hop, the king of jazz, the king of pop. We have the king of entertainment,
right.
and
That's where we are.
we don't have any priests. So
Great point.
they
Great
took
point.
from us.
Everything, our strength is in vanity. We're the kings of entertainment, aka the king of vanity, king of everything that's in vain, right? Um, the rest of that verse is just talking about, um, you know, not yielding from the land, and we went over that already. Keep reading for me though, verse 21.
And if you walk contrary unto me and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins.
Right? So, as black people, as Hispanic people, we know plagues have hit us hard, right? You know, not just talking about the ones we talk about on the street every week about high blood pressure, gout, and things of that nature, right? You got to think about the times when we were smitten with syphilis and HIV and all these things from our enemies too, right? Smallpox. Smallpox had a big had pretty much was the genocide of the Native Americans, right? All these plagues, man, because of our sins, right? Keep reading.
I will also send wild beasts among you,
Now,
which
when it says wild beast, right? Um, Figuratively speaking, it's talking about our oppressors, right? Keep reading.
con, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate.
Right, man. Right. Robbed us of our children. We all know, man. They split our families up when we got over here, right? They destroyed our cattle. What does it mean by destroying them, right? First of all, don't even talk about killing them to eat them. It was stealing them, taking them from us. Hey, it's my cattle now, right? They made us few in number. Now, when you look at today's society, right? Um, Now they refer to us as marginalized people or minorities, right? Made us few in number, and your highways shall be desolate.
Con, and if you read into this allegory when it's talking about wild beasts among you, even going back to 70 AD when we had to flee Jerusalem, right? Uh, what makes these people wild? What makes these other nations wild? They don't have a law. They don't have God's law, so that makes them wild. What makes them beasts? Right? Because they eat what they want, they think what they want, they move like beasts. And that's why exactly what happened, right? They ravished and spoiled everything like wild beasts. Like if you had a lion, right, that was on the loose, like say you were in Florida back in the day when they had that big flood or tsunami, and the zoo got pretty much ramsacked and they had wild beasts everywhere, right? If a lion come in your house, he's a wild beast. He gonna be tearing everything up, jumping on everything, right? And that's what happened to us because of our disobedience.
Right? Lawless, bro. Right? Keep reading for me.
Verse 23. And if ye will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins.
Right? Keep reading.
I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send the pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy.
Right, man. Right? And we see this even to today, right? When we gather together in our cities, right? Then pestilence is among us, right? When there's a big gathering of black folks, man, big gathering of minorities, right? Something bad always has to happen. Someone's going to jail, right? Someone's getting shot. Some folly is always happen. Some pestilence is always bound to happen, right? And you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemies. What I just say? When we get together, somebody is going to prison, right? Or someone is getting shot. And what does that look like? Being delivered into the hand of your enemies whenever we're gathered together, right? These are curses that we can see till today, right? Deuteronomy 28 is good, but this is another one that you can put in your back pocket too, Leviticus 26, right? Keep reading. We're going to stop at verse 33, so we got a few more verses left.
Verse 26. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied.
Right. I like the way this puts this, man. This is pretty much saying, hey, look, you're going to have women and they're going to be slaving in the kitchen, right? But at the same time, they're going to be trying to ration out the food, right? And when they ration out the food, it's still not going to be enough, right? You already have little to nothing, and now you got to divvy it up between everybody in the house. And once you divvy it up and give it out, it's still not enough. You're still not satisfied. We see this in the slave quarters, man. Back in slavery times, barely surviving off of the food that we were allowed to eat. Even till today, where people have two, three jobs trying to provide for their family, living off of food stamps, right? We still have brothers and sisters today in America that go to sleep um, with nothing but a wish sandwich, right? Wish I had a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? We still have people that go to sleep, stomach touching their back, living in the states, right? We know in the third world countries like Haiti, right, and things of that nature, they living like that. But in the states too, right? We still getting plagued and cursed with these curses, right? Keep reading for me.
27. And if ye will not far, Salakia, and if ye will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sin.
Keep reading.
And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat.
Right, man. You know what I'm saying? Even in slavery times, they was doing some crazy stuff to us, man. They would kill us, right? They would, cook us up and serve it to us, right? Not knowing what it was. They used to they used to do crazy stuff like this all the time, right? Like bring a young man in and put a bag over his mom's head, right? And force him to lay with his mom, right? They were doing these things to us, right? In the book of Obadiah, I believe, it talks about how our oppressors they furthered our oppression. A reason why they furthered our oppression was doing sick stuff like this, right? Making us sin even more, right? They furthered our oppression. That's why the Most High God was so angry with them and will have indignation with them forever, right? But these are the sick curses that were put upon us for not adhering to the words of God. Keep reading for me.
And I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you.
Right. Read that one more time for me.
And I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you.
Right. He says, cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols. What does this look like? What does this look like? Brother Azrael probably knows. Casting your carcass upon your idols. What does that look like? Huh? I'm about to type it in and you're gonna be like, oh, okay. You're gonna know then, but see, we get some images up here, man. Let's see. It's hanging here, right here. Right? What does this look like? Right? I want to view it bigger, man. There it go. Right? Read that one more time for me.
I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you.
Cast our carcasses upon our idols, right? This is an idol that we had, you know what I'm saying? Even in slavery times, we trusted in the cross, right? They were it was given to us to trust in, but we trust in it, and they burned us on them. They
Uh,
they threw our carcasses on these right here, right? And they burned us. It's a picture with the KKK in the background, man, right? You can't make this stuff up. When the Most High says something, man, it comes to pass. It comes to pass, right? Look at this man right here. right?
Also,
Burning cross.
sidebar, if you want to see the real truth about how Christianity was spread through the earth, go ahead and watch Vikings Valhalla on Netflix, right? These Christian men, so-called white Christian men, were raping women, using knives and swords to cut crosses into people's flesh, ransacking whole villages, all in the name of Christ and their Savior, right?
Right,
So that was spread to so-called Negroes as well, right? They treated us just like they treated everybody else. And that's how Christianity was spread because there was no choice.
right. I know y'all remember that Bad Boys 2, how Bad Boys 2 first started off, man. That KKK rally. You know what I'm saying? When they pulled up out the water, man, they was finna burn somebody on the cross, right? Throwing up there. The Most High said our carcasses was gonna be on the carcasses of our idols, man, and He made it happen. A lot of people probably read that and be like, "How is He gonna do that?" Right? The great part is, right? It says this in 30, in verse number 30. But watch, this is in the same exact chapter. We're gonna read verse number 1. Watch this. You can read verse number 1 for me.
Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set upon any image of stone in your land to bow down upon it, for I am the Lord your God.
You know, a lot of times we go to the book of Deuteronomy, right? And we pull out, that we would serve wood and stone. And we tell people, hey man, that wood is the cross, and that stone is that cobblestone um, that the Muslims bow down to, right? And some people be like, I hear what you're saying. Sounds like philosophy. It doesn't get more clear than this, right? You got to have this precept in your back pocket. It says, "Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image." What does every church have in the front yard? Every church rears up an image in the front yard, right?
Even if you go into random neighborhoods, people got it in their front yard.
Right, right. Rearing up a standing image. That's an idol. The Most High God never told you to do that. Christ never told you to do that, right? Neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. We know the Muslims, right? They go to Mecca once a year and they all bow down to that stone. Going right, I'm talking about, man, Christianity in the nation of Islam or Muslims, right? It's like they saw this verse and they said, "We're gonna do it. We gonna blatantly do it."
Not,
Right,
not only that, Greeks as well, right? Even like I said in the Vikings Valhalla, they worship the god of Odin and Osiris and all these other gods, right? And they're just nothing but a room full of stones and some candles lit that they bow before. They rear up these images. Even modern day Greek life for so-called blacks, right? We get a read in, and you bow down before these shrines that are reared up before you, right?
right. Rearing up an image, man. This is plain as day. It don't matter what the image is. If you're rearing it up, if you're standing it up, it's an idol, bro. And the Most High God, neither Christ ever told you to rear up anything, right? Anything. I got a brother-in-law, right? He's a Catholic, and one of the conversations he had with my sister-in-law, I guess, was because she asked him because she's not Catholic, and she asked him like, what's up with these statues in the church and Saint this and Hail Mary and all of this, right? I thought the Bible said that we shouldn't be, having idols, you know. And she was in Christianity, so she, they have idols too. They just unaware that cross is an idol too, right? But she asked this question, and he had this whole philosophy and broke it down. They're not idols, you know what I'm saying? We kind of view them as superheroes and this, that, and third. At the end of the day, you're rearing up an idol, man. You're rearing up a standing image. You're bowing down to it. You're praying to it. You're talking to it, right? And it can't talk back. It's an idol, man. Gotta let it go, right? Set up any image of stone. Now we talk about the cobblestone because it's one big stone, but think about every Catholic church, man. They all have stone statues of people, right? It says not to bow down to it, for I am the Lord thy God. Why? Because the Most High God never said to rear up anything or bow down to anything. What did he say though? This is what he said. If you want to show you respect the Most High God, this is what he said to do. Not to do that, but do this. Read number 2.
You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord.
No, it says reverence the images.
Reverence my sanctuary.
Reverence the sanctuary. How do we reverence the sanctuary? By being holy, right? If you want to honor me, keep my Sabbaths. You don't have to wear a cross chain. Keep my Sabbath. You don't have to rear up a cross in your front lawn. Just keep my Sabbath. That's all it required. Y'all making it hard. I'm trying to make it easy on you, right? Save you time and effort. You stopped on verse 30. Go ahead and read verse 31 for me.
It's so crazy that our people are so simple that something so simple goes over our head. Literally, all in a nutshell, the Most High is asking really for us to do is to keep his Sabbaths, to show we're obedient to him. A day where you don't buy or sell, you just rest. But for some reason, even when you tell people, hey, look, you can pick your Sabbath day as long as you work 6 days and you rest on the seventh. We can't do it as a people. Our people, for some reason, we just have to be doing something for 7 days out the week. We just got to be buying something all the time. We just got to be working all the time. And so on Judgment Day, a lot of our people are going to hear that word depart from me because they couldn't do something simple. If he hits a lot of our people with, why didn't you keep my Sabbaths? They're not going to know what to say because it's something so simple that they could have done that they know they didn't, right? But this is verse 31.
I want to say also, Salaki, man. I couldn't. I had the window over the chat, man, so I couldn't see y'all's comments, man. But y'all had some mighty points in the comments as well, right? Go ahead.
Khan, Salakia. I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors.
Right. We know about the sanctuaries, right? The temple, right? Being destroyed time after time after time again, right? He said, I will make your cities waste, right? Over there in Palestine, man, Jerusalem, right? It's got people living over there, man, but the real children are not over there. That's why it's considered desolate, right? And why is it considered waste, right? One, because everything they doing over there is it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's amounting to waste, right? They have the biggest pride parade, the biggest gay parade is held over there, right? That's waste, trash, right? Two more verses.
Khan, I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
Right, man, right? They were astonished at our land when they took it over, right? Bring our land to desolation. It's desolate because we're not there no more, right? The children ain't there no more. The enemies looked at it as, hey, look, man, this is all for us, right? They claimed it for themselves. They were astonished at, everything that they got to claim, right? Last verse for the day, man, verse number 33.
And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste.
Right. He will scatter us among the heathen, right?
Salakia, sidebar, but a lot of people that believe that the Americas are our land, why are there people all over America? It says our land shall be desolate. right? I know a lot of people say we're from Kansas, Oklahoma, or Wyoming. Why are those lands not desolate? Why are those cities not waste? Right? These are prophecies. We're scattered among the heathen, right?
Right, right, man. We were scattered amongst the heathen. We were scattered amongst all these nations, right? You know, no place to call our own. We have no claim to fame. We have no seat in the United Nations, right? In the EU. We don't have a team to root for in the World Cup, right? We were scattered amongst the heathen, right? I think it talks about that in the book of Tobit, about how he scattered us amongst the heathen. It's a
Con,
part
even
of our judgment, man.
this a prequel to Deuteronomy. This is a prequel to Deuteronomy 28. In Deuteronomy 28, I think verse 25 says we were scattered among all the kingdoms of the earth.
Right, right. It says we were in, hey man, you can't make this up. Us being scattered amongst the heathen, it led to a lot of confusion as well, because now you got people uh, tied to where they were scattered. Now I think this is the truth, man. I think this is the truth. I think I want to call us. I think we're the Moors. I think we're Egyptian. No, we're Afro-Asianic um Negroids, right? No, we're African Americans. With that one video you sent me of bruh saying, "Don't call me Negro, don't call me African American, right? Don't call me black, call me the American.
I am the American.
And if you don't call me the American, you don't respect my people. No, brother, you an Israelite, right? We are the Israelites that were scattered amongst these heathen. That's what we are, not the American, right? Man, talking about some lee lee lee, OCO, OCO, right? Our people are smitten with madness, right? People smitten with madness, right? Talking about
Right.
call
I'll
me.
say this. Show me in the Bible a man called America, and then I'll call myself American.
Show
But
me anywhere somebody called themselves the American.
right. Last thing I can't even get my words out. But you know what I thought was I came from a man called Israel, which makes me an Israelite. So that's why I claim the nationality of an Israelite, right? There's no man in the text, in the ancient text called American or America, right?
Right,
So why are you calling yourself an American?
right.
Doesn't
Con,
make
man. But
no
I think
shade to the brother, I'm just saying. It just doesn't make sense.
it doesn't, man. You know, our people were smitten with madness, you know. And so I told you guys I wouldn't be too long, man. I think we right at about 49 minutes. And so this was Deuteronomy 28, the prequel, right? Keep Leviticus chapter 26 in your back pocket too, man. You might get to utilize it when you're going out and spreading this gospel, man, whether it be your family and friends. It's got some hard hitters in there, man, especially when it comes to idols and things of that nature, right? Good things to know, right? But with that, I'm Brother Don,
So that's right, yeah.
and we give our honor and glory to the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who we do so by way of His Son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird out there, because we are scattered amongst the heathen by way of a curse for not doing what we're supposed to do, which is keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, which we got to do, right? It's the whole duty of man. We're the hopeful elect. We do these videos to make our calling and election sure. And we'll say till next time, you guys study hard. Hope this video was edifying. Shalom.